this computer. Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen so we can go through the Purpose website. And there we go. Can everybody see my screen? Great. So this is what you'll see. Oh, here's another person. Hello, St. Mary's. Oh, hello. We're just going through the Purpose website. We haven't started yet, so you're just on time.
Hi, Nick. Good to see you. We were just talking about you. Am I frozen or is Nick frozen?
I think, oh, he's
There.
muted. You're muted, Nick.
Thank you. The audio wasn't coming through on my end, so
Oh, gotcha.
we're good now. Thank you.
Awesome.
Nick, this is Kristen from Life Team.
Kristen, what's up?
Hey, Nick. Perfect. We're just getting started, so you haven't missed anything yet.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. So here's the screen when you first log into the Purpose website. You'll have your dashboard, and it has everything that's coming up this week in events and confirmation, and then it has your calendar. One of the first things I like to show people is the People tab, because you can't do the Purpose program without help or without parents or teens. So here is where you will add all of your core team, all of your catechists or people that are helping you. This will allow them to have their own login to Purpose. So once you put in their information, you just need their first name, last name, and email. You don't need to fill out all the other information. Once you click Add User, it'll send them an email to automatically set up their account and give them instructions on how to log in. And then here you can put your parents or your teens. So here we have Betty White as one of our parents. And once you add her in, it'll have her create an account. Parents and teens are only able to log into the app on their phone. So they're not going to be on the computer like you guys are. And then the teens, you'll be able to connect them with a parent. So if Claire was Betty's daughter, Betty would show up here so you can see who matches to which parent. And then you can also put their grade and any notes. I know this is specifically good for parishes who are clustered or multiple parishes who are working together. This would be good to know who belongs to which parish. So this one is at St. Michael's. Nick, I told them as well, if you have any questions, just feel free to jump in and ask me as I go. So the core team is going to be able to see everything that the admin sees. The only things that they're not going to be able to do is create an event, but they can add people. So if you have a ton of teens or a ton of parents, they'll be able to help you add those in. At this point, we're not able to bulk add people like in a CSV file or upload them into the system. It's going to have to be one by one, but you just need first name, last name, and email. So hopefully that'll help cut down on time by just needing that information. Parents and teens are only going to be able to see, parents are going to be able to see the calendar and the parent letter that's attached to that attached to that event. And I'll show you about that in a minute. And then the teens are only going to be able to see the calendar of events, like what's coming up and their requirements. So let's see, we'll go over here to confirmation. So this confirmation schedule is going to, the parents and teens will be able to see this on their app. This is preloaded from the events you put into your calendar. So this isn't something that you create here. It's something that you create in your calendar and it just automatically loads it in. And then the requirements are going to be good for, service hours. If there's anything that's upcoming that's outside of a class, maybe that they need to be aware of, this is where you'll want to put it. a little bit of feedback that we've gotten is, can they upload their service hours? Are we able to track attendance, or is there a way for us to mark it as completed? Not at this time. It's still a very basic dashboard, and COVID really put a wrench in a lot of that stuff, but it is something that we're looking at for the future, because we have gotten a lot of feedback on being able to interact with it between the teens and the app, and then the admin and the app as well. But at least they can see it.
Excuse me, just a sec. Do we really need to do this in order to run Purpose, or can we just
No.
do it old school and hand out the letters to the parents? And because
Absolutely.
I'm going to have a very small group, and it seems like this is going to be a lot more work than just verbally saying this is what's coming up or handing.
Sure. Yeah, the app is really good for it's good for larger groups, and also just to have that extra layer of like, well, you really don't have an excuse for not knowing there was class tonight because, it's on the
And
app and over here.
Plus, Elizabeth, a lot of kids and parents are on their phones and having their apps now. It's handy for that reason, for parents who use technology a lot.
Yeah, we do have a lot of parishes that don't utilize the app portion of it. So really for parents and teens, they don't have the app, but this dashboard's very useful for you and your core members.
Can I ask, so if we use the app this year,
Mhm.
next year, will some of the basic information be able to transfer? Like if we have our lessons kind of set and our service dates set, would we be able to kind of transfer that and just change dates next year? Or are we starting from scratch next year for the calendar?
You should be able to go back to the specific dates and just change the date to the new date. So yeah, so you could just change the date. And I'll show you the calendar next. It's very easy to go in and edit things and then just change the year. So yeah, it's up to you. And I think you obviously know your people, and if your parents and teens will really utilize the app, and if they're well connected on their phones, which I mean, most people are, but you know your people better than anybody else. So you'll know if it's going to be effective or not. So the calendar is a great tool to use for everybody. It's got information for everybody. I put a class in for the 20th. So I can go in and edit it. Maria, you can always go back and just edit things and change the dates. A trick that I realized way too long after the fact is that to change the year, you don't have to click through by the arrows. You can just click the year and change the year. It will save you a lot of time, I promise. So if you want to change it to next August, you just click 23 and then change it to that Saturday or whenever you want to have that. When you create an event, you can put in the event name, the date and time, and then you'll choose confirmation to pull up all the confirmation resources. Eventually, once we load in the Life Nights and Edge Nights, you'll be able to load in the Edge Night curriculum and attach those resources to those nights. But for now, it's just confirmation. And then you can add any notes that you want the teens to see, the parents to see, specific things they need to bring. You can add that in. And then,
Kristen?
Yeah.
So if you are adding something to the calendar and when you're able to eventually add the lessons right in there and your resources, so your core team could actually get their resources right off your calendar?
Yes. So
Like
yes, it's almost easier in a way because they know, oh, this week is coming up is this specific purpose night or this specific edge night. And they can pull up that single resource instead of having to go through the whole website, find it, or have it printed on a piece of paper. It's at their fingertips.
Thank you.
And they can access it on the dashboard on the computer or through the app on their phone. But in order to add a resource to the calendar, you have to be on the computer. You can't add resources from the phone. So your database of resources is going to be just on the computer. So then you'll go in to add a resource and it'll bring you 4 different options. We have confirmation large, which is the large group version. I would suggest doing this if you have maybe 40 or more teens coming to sessions. We have confirmation Spanish. If you have any like parents who speak Spanish, this would be a really good place to find Spanish parent letters. Confirmation 8th grade, and then confirmation small, which would be up to 40 teens in your group. This would be a great version to use. The content's going to be the same with all the different adaptations. The only difference you're going to find really is in the games and also in the small group questions. So we're going to go with the large group. And we'll just choose seeking, which is number 2, and add this to our event. So what this does is, depending on the type of user that's logging in to view this calendar, they'll be able to see different things. So let's see. You go to the resources real quick. So this one, when you go to download the resources, you see within this session 2, you have the PDF of the night, any handouts that are attached to it, the Word document. So if you want to edit the night, if there's things that you want to adapt within your own parish, you're welcome to save that Word doc and edit it and then save it back on your computer. So for next year, you don't need to worry or wonder, you know, what did I do last year? I thought it went really well. So that's really good to have for future years. Parent letters, and then any videos that are attached. So when you add that to the calendar, your core members are going to see the PDF, the handouts, and the Word doc. And the same with you as the admin. The parents are going to see the parent letter. And then the video is also going to be under the core and the admin. And then the teens are just going to see what session is happening. So then we come over here to our resources tab, and this is where you can view all the nights, print them out, download things. This is like the main hub of the purpose resource. And if you do plan on using the small groups, one thing I forgot to mention is we did update them this past summer. So summer of 21, we updated the small group resources where they used to be adapted from the large group, but now they are completely written for a small group instead of being adapted from a large group setting. So the updated ones are going to say small group updated versus just the small group. So both of those are on there, so that looks like there's a lot more than there should be because there's 2 versions. So, and then also down here on the resources page, you'll see all of our retreats. These are all from our Life Teen resources. We are working on a specific retreat that's native to purpose. So a native confirmation retreat is coming out soon. But in the meantime, we have a lot of parishes that use the search retreat for their teens for confirmation. And also Chaos is a really good retreat. So we have all the sessions separate on here, but you can piece them together to create a full retreat. You can do a couple different sessions or all of them depending on how much time you have for a retreat. Some people have, a couple hours, some people have full days. You could even do a whole weekend retreat if that's something that you guys typically do. We also have the modified summits, which are going to be a really good resource in addition to the purpose session, or COVID helped kind of spur this to be used this way. But a lot of parishes during COVID sent this home to the parents or emailed it out to the parents during the week and said, here's something that you should do with your teens at home to help kind of reinforce that they're the primary catechists, but also to get the parents involved with the teens just breaking open the gospel and breaking open the Sunday readings. So it's formatted like a Lectio Divina, and it just really breaks open the Sunday readings. And we have them here preloaded for all 3 years. So you can easily go in and find the Sunday that you're doing this week, and just whichever one fits with your schedule. So those are all there. You're welcome to use those, but that's not an element that you have to use to run the program well. And then, back at the dashboard, you can see my upcoming purpose session, and then my requirements as well. Do you guys have any questions? I know I went kind of fast.
So I was trying to write as quickly as you were
I'm
talking. Could you
sorry.
just, no, that's okay. I am very unfamiliar with your dashboard. I did see it when I was printing off the lessons, but could you just very briefly post something for us so we can see exactly your steps again?
For the resources? Yeah. Oops. So are you talking about how to find resources, or is she frozen?
Elizabeth, are you still there? Or are you frozen?
I'm still here, but my computer is telling me that I have an unstable internet connection, so
Oh,
I may
no.
lose you.
That's okay.
So I wasn't quite clear on what you wanted from her, Elizabeth. If you could just clarify a little.
I was just asking her to show us again how she posted a resource to the calendar so
Oh,
people
gotcha.
could see it.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank
yeah,
you.
sure. We can go through and add a new event for the first time, so I can walk you through that. So when you click on your calendar, go back, say we're going to meet on the 27th, we'll have class number 2. You'll just click on add event, or you can also click on that actual date to quickly add an event, but then you'll have to go back in and add a resource. So to me, the easiest way is just add an event, and then you can choose which day you want to add it to. So we'll do confirmation class 2. And then it pops up with the calendar, so you can choose from the calendar what date you want to do it. So we'll choose the 27th. Then we'll have class very early from 8:30 to we'll do to 9:45 on a Saturday morning. You'll always choose confirmation as the event type at this point, and that way you can preload the resources. We'll do parish hall. You'll put the location, and then any notes that you want to add for the teens and the parents will see this. So if there's anything you need them to bring, or anything to just kind of add another layer to remind them of what to bring, because people don't read a lot of the time. So if you put it in multiple places, there's a better chance that they'll see it once. And then over here is where you're going to add the resource. And it'll bring up a page that looks just like the resources page. And you can just choose, instead of clicking download, you'll click add to event. And then if you need to view, like if you want to do session 4, you can click view all and add session 4. So we'll do session 3. And that's all you need to do to add an event. And then once you add it to the calendar, it automatically knows who to send what to. So when you open the calendar on your phone as a core member, it knows what you're going to view. Yep. Does that help, Elizabeth? Okay, awesome.
I just wasn't clear on how it knew who to give what, but I see that
Sure.
when you just do the add event, it sorts it for you, right?
Yeah, based on the type of account they have, whether it's core, parent, or teen, that's how it knows who to send what to. Awesome. What other questions can I answer? Great. It's a pretty straightforward, there's not a lot of bells and whistles at this point, which is kind of nice when you're first learning it. We have gotten a lot of feedback on different features that people would like to see. So those new features are in the works. And it's definitely at level 0 right now, maybe level 1, we'll say, because it has had some updates done to it since the beginning. But hopefully in the next few years, we'll get it kind of like an all-in-one where you don't really have to use any other app or means to connect with your teens and with your parents in a safe environment.
Does anybody have any purpose, lesson or content questions that they have for Kristen maybe?
We do have, we have a table of contents. I don't know if Mary, if Katie has sent that to you, but I can send it your way. It just breaks down all the lessons and gives a couple bullet points so you know what's covered in all 24 sessions without having to go
I
in.
do
and-
have that.
Oh, great.
I do have,
Okay,
thank you.
awesome. Yeah, that's a great tool to have as you go through and plan.
I can forward that.
Perfect.
And I actually wanted to thank you, Kristen. I couldn't remember if the parents and students added themselves or if you had to add them.
Yeah.
So that was an awesome reminder.
And one thing I recommend too, just from experience, is to make sure before you add your parents and teens, if you choose to use that you tell them, because their password does expire within a week. And I've gotten many, many emails from parents and teens saying they expired and I don't know what parish they belong to. So I can't do much to help them, but I think that would save a lot of back and forth and a lot of emails on our part too.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Also, if something we've come across too is if a temporary password doesn't work, sometimes they're weird or people add extra spaces to them when they copy and paste. Maybe I would first check and see if there's an extra space when they copy and paste the password. But also if for some reason it doesn't take, you can delete the person and add them back in to send them a new temporary password. So that way it just kind of wipes the slate clean to send them a new one. And if you guys ever run into any issues with Purpose as you start using it and start going along, please feel free to reach out to me because I've been doing the Purpose for a long time. And I know all the tips and tricks that to kind of work around some of the quirks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Awesome. Mary, do you have anything else?
No, I just wanted to make sure they, if they had questions, they got them answered. So Elizabeth is looking like she's got a question or not.
I was just going to say, I have printed out, because I am a paper kind of person, all of the lessons for the year, and was just going to hand them to my assistant. Actually, I've already mailed them to my assistant, but I'm going to try to be modern and tell the parents about the app and get on the ball here, but outside my comfort zone. I haven't really looked at enough of it to know, do I have questions about anything yet? I'm sure I'll be emailing you at some point.
Sure. Yeah.
If you have somebody who's helping you, or if you have a really good tech savvy parent, I bet they'd be more than willing to help you enter the data and things so that you don't have to take that time to put it in. And plus you have 2 other leaders who work with you, Elizabeth. Pass it off. So
we're all doing this in our own parish this time. So we're on our own.
I did not
But
realize that.
I am happy to see that you have retreats. I hadn't actually seen that. We were just going to cobble together a retreat out of a few of the lessons that we're not going to make it to, because we only have 17 classes versus the 24 classes and 24 lessons.
Sure.
So it is nice. We'll be looking at a couple of these retreats, I think.
Yeah, and that's a good option too. A lot of parishes have done that before with like Life Nights or Edge Nights, is just kind of piece them together so that way it creates a retreat. So that might be a really good option too for those outstanding classes that you're not going to use. Love that. Awesome. Well, Bree also runs Purpose as well, who I know has coached you guys, or is the coach for the Diocese of Erie. So you can always reach out to her, or I'm always available as well to help answer any Purpose questions you guys have. But yeah, we're here to make sure that you guys are set up for success and that you feel comfortable running Purpose this year.
Kristen, thank you so much for being on with us tonight and walking us through that a little bit. And I thank you for recording it because I know there's a few others who couldn't be here tonight who are interested in